Everything in your life right now is the result of what you choose to pursue or what you choose to avoid. Every distraction, every impulse, every fleeting pleasure is stealing your potential, one decision at a time. If you cannot master your mind, nothing else you build will last. In the next hour, you will learn the exact framework to train your mind to ignore instant gratification, to resist distractions, and to build unshakable focus. This isn't theory. This isn't motivation. This is a blueprint for your life, if you choose to follow it. Chapter 1. Stop chasing temporary pleasure. Listen carefully. Every time you reach for instant pleasure, you are stealing from your future. Every time you swipe, snack, scroll, or escape into comfort, you are building a life that is smaller than your potential. That's the truth. Harsh, maybe, but necessary. If you don't face it now, you'll keep repeating the same patterns year after year, feeling stuck, frustrated, and powerless. You have a choice. You can continue chasing temporary pleasure, or you can choose to invest in your long-term growth. That's the key. Every great life ever lived was built on the ability to say no to what feels good now, and yes to what matters most later. Think about it. Look around. People are addicted to comfort. They are addicted to quick dopamine hits, social media likes, binge-watching shows, fast food, endless scrolling, instant messaging, notifications. Every beep, every buzz, every ping is designed to hijack your attention. And it works, because your brain is hardwired to seek what feels good. But here's the brutal fact. Pleasure is cheap. Fulfillment is rare. Instant gratification steals your power. It steals your time. It steals your focus. And most importantly, it steals your future. Consider the example of a young professional who spends hours every night scrolling on Instagram instead of learning, creating, or building something meaningful. They feel satisfied in the moment. They feel comforted. They feel entertained. But when the month ends, the year ends, and 5 years pass, what have they built? Nothing. That momentary pleasure added zero to their skill, their wealth, their health, or their influence. They are trapped. Mediocrity feels safe, but it costs everything. You have a choice. You can continue being a prisoner to short-term reward, or you can train yourself to delay gratification. That's the key. Delay now. Gain later. Simple but ignored by the masses. Here's how it works in real life. Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors of all time, lives frugally. He could buy anything, yet he invests his money for decades. He chooses long-term gain over instant enjoyment. Every time he refuses a short-term temptation, his wealth compounds. Every time he resists, he wins. This isn't luck. It's discipline. And this is the principle that builds lasting success. You don't need their permission to live like this. You don't need to conform to a culture that worships distraction. You don't need approval from anyone who believes comfort is more important than growth. What you need is focus. What you need is discipline. What you need is repetition. And repetition is built one choice at a time. Now let's make this practical. How do you stop chasing temporary pleasure? How do you train your mind to resist the pull of what feels good right now? Start with small wins. Small, measurable actions. If your phone distracts you, remove the temptation. If junk food is your weakness, clear it from your house. If you binge-watch TV instead of creating, schedule blocks of focused work and enforce them like your life depends on it, because it does. You have a choice. Every day and every moment. It's not about willpower. It's about environment. It's about habit. It's about discipline. Habits compound. Choices compound. And here's the truth. What you delay, you gain. What you chase, you lose. Repeat it. Memorize it. Live it. Let me give you another example. Consider a student preparing for a major exam. They have the option to scroll their phone, to hang out with friends, to watch one more episode of a show. Feels good. It's comforting. But the student who chooses discipline, who studies, who focuses, who delays gratification, gains far more. The reward isn't immediate, but it's permanent. Grades, knowledge, confidence, opportunities. Every choice to delay the small pleasure creates leverage in life. This is the essence of the Stoic Framework. You cannot control the world. You cannot control other people. You cannot control the chaos around you. but you can control your mind. You can control your actions. You can control the momentary choices that determine your destiny. And the first step is simple: stop chasing temporary pleasure. Here's the truth most people avoid: life is hard. Success is hard. Growth is uncomfortable. And yet, the world hands out comfort like candy. Soft beds, fast food, easy entertainment. And people take it because it's easier. But you are not most people. You are listening to this audiobook because you want more. You want control. You want power. You want freedom. You want a life of purpose. And the first step is to stop indulging in what steals your future. I want you to repeat this with me. Say it out loud if you can. I will delay what is easy. I will endure what is uncomfortable. I will invest in what matters. Good. Repeat it again. I will delay what is easy. I will endure what is uncomfortable. I will invest in what matters. You don't just say it once. You live it. You breathe it. You make it your default. The real challenge isn't resisting a single temptation. The real challenge is building a life where your default is delayed gratification, where your automatic response is discipline, where your instincts are trained to prioritize long-term gain over short-term pleasure. That is the skill. That is the transformation. And that is how extraordinary lives are built. Look, this isn't some motivational fluff. This is behavioral science. This is practical wisdom. Dopamine is your friend when controlled. Discipline is your friend when repeated. Choices are your friend when aligned with your purpose. But if you chase what's easy, you cheat yourself. Every skipped workout, every late-night binge, every distraction-filled hour, these are not harmless. They are small leaks that erode your potential until one day, you wake up and wonder where your life went. You have a choice. Right now you do. Stop chasing temporary pleasure. Stop trading future value for present comfort. Stop living a life of distraction. That's the key. Every small no compounds. Every delayed reward strengthens your will. Every act of discipline transforms your mind, your habits, and eventually your entire life. Remember, what you delay, you gain. What you chase, you lose. Repeat it until it becomes a reflex. Let it guide every decision. And don't confuse discomfort with suffering. Discomfort is the path. Discomfort is the training ground. Discomfort is your ladder to freedom. You mastered awareness. You see the cost of instant gratification. You understand the power of delayed reward. And you know what to do. Now it's time to act. Every choice you make from this moment on either compounds your life or erodes it. That's the truth. That's reality. And it's simple. Stop chasing temporary pleasure. Invest in your future. Control your mind. Own your life. You have a choice. And now you must make it. You mastered your desire for the easy reward. Now let's talk about the next level. Chapter 2, The Mental Muscle of Self-Control. Listen closely. Self-control is not something you're born with. It's not a fixed trait. It's a muscle. That's right, a muscle. And like any muscle, it grows stronger with deliberate, repeated exercise. The more you practice it, the more control you gain. The more control you gain, the more power you have over your life. This is the mental muscle of self-control. And it's the key to ignoring instant gratification, staying disciplined, and building a life of purpose. You have a choice. You can believe you're naturally weak. You can blame your habits, your environment, or your upbringing. Or you can recognize the truth. Your self-control is a skill. It's trainable. Every small choice you make, saying no to a snack, focusing on work instead of scrolling, resisting the urge to complain, is like a rep in the gym for your mind. Each rep strengthens you. Each act of control compounds. And over time, what once felt impossible becomes automatic. That's the power of training your mental muscle. Look at elite athletes. Michael Jordan didn't become the greatest basketball player by talent alone. He became the greatest by showing up every day, running drills when no one was watching, practicing shots until his arms burned, saying no to distractions and saying yes to discipline. Every time he resisted temptation, he gained. Every time he pushed through fatigue, he strengthened his mental muscle. You can do the same. Not on a basketball court, but in your life. You don't need anyone's permission to train this muscle. You don't need a coach, a mentor, or a perfect environment. You have what you need, your choices. your actions, your commitment. That's the key. Control is not a gift, it's earned. And it starts with awareness. Pause. Decide. Act with purpose. Repeat it. Say it with me. Pause. Decide. Act with purpose. This simple sequence is a cornerstone of mental discipline. Pause when you feel the pull of instant gratification. Decide whether it serves your long-term goals. And then act deliberately, not impulsively. That's how you strengthen your self-control. That's how you train your mental muscle. That's how you take command of your life. Consider entrepreneurs like Elon Musk or Sarah Blakely. Their successes were not accidents. They built empires by consistently choosing the hard path, delaying pleasure, and acting with relentless focus. Musk worked hundreds of hours, endured failures, and delayed personal comfort for his vision. Blakely invested her savings, studied tirelessly, and persisted through rejection. Every small act of self-control compounded into massive results. The principle is clear: small, repeated choices shape the future. That's the mental muscle in action. Now let's make this practical. You can't suddenly transform into a superhuman of self-discipline, but you can start small. Begin with one area of life where you feel weak. Maybe it's resisting junk food. Maybe it's limiting social media. Maybe it's waking up earlier than you want. Choose one, and then train it daily. Every day, commit to one deliberate act of control. One small no to something easy, one small yes to something meaningful. Every day. Every rep counts. Every rep builds strength. Repetition is everything. Repetition creates habit. Habit creates automaticity. Automaticity frees mental energy for bigger challenges. This is how ordinary people become extraordinary. This is how self-control becomes a superpower. You have a choice. Continue reacting to impulse or start training your mind to respond with control. That's the key. Every time you choose discipline, you gain. Every time you give in, you lose. Let's reinforce the exercise again. Pause. Decide. Act with purpose. This is not a suggestion. This is a command. Pause when your brain screams for immediate satisfaction. Decide whether it aligns with your goals, with your purpose, with the life you're building. And act deliberately. Act intentionally. Act like your future depends on it, because it does. Historical figures understood this too. Consider Benjamin Franklin. He meticulously tracked his habits, held himself accountable, and resisted indulgence in favor of productivity. He built character, influence, and legacy through repeated acts of self-control. Or take Nelson Mandela, who endured decades of imprisonment yet controlled his anger, his impulses, and his mind. That control became the source of power that changed a nation. You see the pattern? Discipline is deliberate. Self-control is trained. Power comes from repeated, conscious choices. You might think this is hard. You might think your impulses are too strong. But that's the point. Growth always feels uncomfortable. Strength is built in resistance. Muscles are torn in the gym before they grow. Your mental muscle grows the same way, through tension, through choice, through repeated control. That's the key. You don't avoid discomfort. You use it. You embrace it. You convert it into strength. Let's talk about daily reinforcement. Every morning, identify one act of self-control to practice. Maybe it's completing a task before checking your phone. Maybe it's skipping a sugary drink. Maybe it's meditating instead of zoning out. Whatever it is, execute it consistently. Track it. Celebrate the small wins. Each act compounds, just like lifting heavier weights over time. Strength builds slowly, silently, and then suddenly, it dominates every area of your life. You have a choice. Right now. Right now, in this moment, you can begin strengthening your mental muscle. You can resist one impulse. You can delay one gratification. You can act with purpose. That's the power of repetition. That's the power of training self-control. That's the foundation for everything else you want to achieve. Remember the mantra: pause. Decide. Act with purpose. Say it again. Pause. Decide. Act with purpose. Let it echo in your mind. Let it guide your actions. Let it become automatic. Let it become unstoppable. Every choice is a rep. Every day is a workout. Every temptation resisted is progress. Every delayed gratification is power. You now understand the truth. Self-control is not a trait, it's a skill. It's a muscle. It's built through repeated, deliberate, conscious action. You have the tools. You have the framework. You have the choice. Strengthen it. Exercise it. Master it. Every moment of control you take is a deposit in your life bank account. Every moment you give in is a withdrawal. That's reality. That's life. That's power. You have trained awareness. You have seen the pull of impulse. And you know what to do next. The next step is using that strength to transform your habits, your focus, and your future. You have built the foundation. Now it's time to apply it. You mastered the awareness of control. You trained the first rep of your mental muscle. Now let's take it further. Chapter 3. Redefine success as long-term gain. Listen carefully. The world is designed to reward the immediate. Likes, clicks, fast money, quick wins, instant gratification. Society tells you that success is what you can get right now. But that's a trap. A dangerous trap. Because what feels like success today often steals from your future. That's the truth. If it doesn't build your future, it steals your present. Repeat it. Say it. If it doesn't build my future, it steals my present. You have a choice. You can keep chasing short-term wins, or you can start redefining success. True success is not a momentary rush of pleasure. True success is compounding progress over years, even decades. It's the patient, relentless accumulation of skill, knowledge, and influence. It's delayed gratification in action. That's the key. That's the difference between ordinary people and extraordinary lives. Consider the world of investing. Warren Buffett didn't become one of the richest men on earth by chasing quick profits. He invested for decades. He focused on the long game. Every dollar he didn't spend, every opportunity he didn't chase impulsively, compounded into monumental wealth. Every time he ignored temptation, he gained leverage. Every time he delayed gratification, he built power. You have a choice. Chase temporary wins or invest in long-term compounding results. That's the key. Artists understand this too. Vincent van Gogh sold almost no paintings during his lifetime. Did he give up? No. Did he chase immediate validation? No. He painted day after day, year after year, perfecting his craft. He focused on long-term mastery even when no one noticed. He delayed the easy rewards of comfort, of approval, of leisure. That patience, that discipline created timeless work. You can do the same. Not necessarily with painting, but with your skills, your craft, your life. Delay now. Build later. That's the principle. Entrepreneurs know this truth as well. Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Sarah Blakely. None of them chased instant wins. They invested years into their vision. They endured failures. They delayed personal pleasure. They sacrificed comfort. They stayed focused. And compounding their effort and discipline over time created empires. Every small act of control, every decision to invest in the future, every delayed gratification added up. You have a choice. Follow the crowd chasing quick satisfaction, or follow the path of the disciplined few. That's the key. You don't need their permission to redefine success. Society will still cheer the instant reward. Society will still celebrate the flashy, the convenient, the popular. Ignore it. Focus on what matters. Focus on compounding results. Focus on the choices that build your future. Every time you prioritize long-term gain over temporary pleasure, you strengthen your mental framework. You build resilience. You build leverage. You build freedom. That's the key. Here's how to make it practical. Start tracking what you're investing your time, energy, and money in. Are you chasing instant pleasure? Or are you building skills, relationships, and opportunities that grow over time? This is not theory. This is practice. Every choice to focus, to delay, to invest compounds. Every choice to chase comfort, distraction, or instant reward steals from your potential. That's reality. Repeat it. If it doesn't build my future, it steals my present. Let's take a closer look at innovators. Thomas Edison spent thousands of hours experimenting, failing, and learning. He could have quit at any moment. He could have chased easier, faster results. But he understood the long-term game. His relentless focus on compounding effort produced inventions that changed the world. That's what happens when you invest in the long term, even when society pressures you to seek immediate validation. Even in everyday life, this principle applies. Saving money, exercising consistently, learning a new skill, writing a book, building a business, these are all long-term games. The benefits are not instant, but they are permanent. Every small, consistent action compounds over months and years. Every no to a fleeting pleasure, every yes to growth, every choice to invest in your future strengthens your life. You have a choice: immediate comfort or enduring success. That's the key. Here's a simple exercise to reinforce this habit. Each morning, ask yourself, does this choice build my future or steal my present? Pause. Decide. Act with purpose. This simple mental filter will transform how you approach every decision. It forces you to recognize temptation for what it is. It forces you to align your actions with your long-term goals. Repeat it daily. Repeat it relentlessly. That's how mental strength compounds over time. The harsh reality: most people never learn this lesson. They chase likes, attention, money, or pleasure without thinking about the long-term consequences. They trade years of potential for a momentary rush. And eventually they wonder why they're stuck, why they feel unfulfilled, why their life hasn't changed. Don't be that person. You have a choice. Recognize the cost of short-term thinking. Redefine success as long-term gain. That's the key. Let's reinforce it one more time. Repeat after me: if it doesn't build my future, it steals my present. Say it again: if it doesn't build my future, it steals my present. Let it guide your actions, your habits, your daily decisions. The mind is a muscle. Discipline is a skill. Choices are the reps that strengthen both. And compounding decisions over time is how extraordinary lives are built. You might be thinking, I can't wait decades for results. I need something now. That's a lie. What you need now is control. What you need now is patience. What you need now is discipline. Every small action, every delayed reward, every choice in favor of growth adds up. It compounds quietly. It grows silently. And then one day, it explodes into results that are far bigger than any short-term win could ever deliver. That's the secret. That's the power. That's the game you must play. Remember, life rewards patience, not impulse. Life rewards discipline, not desire. Life rewards compounding effort, not instant thrills. You have a choice. Every day, every hour, every moment. Invest in your future. Delay gratification. Build your life. That's the key. That's the framework. That's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. You now understand the principle. You know why society's definition of success is flawed. You see the power of compounding effort, the importance of delayed gratification, and the danger of chasing temporary wins. You have the framework. You have the choice. Apply it consistently. Every day. Every decision. Every action. You mastered the long-term perspective. You learned to see beyond the instant. Now let's explore the next step. Chapter 4. Systems over goals. Automate discipline. Listen up. Goals are useless without a system. You heard me. Useless. Everyone talks about setting goals. Everyone preaches about hitting targets, achieving milestones, chasing results. But here's the harsh truth. Goals are fragile. Goals rely on motivation. Motivation fluctuates. Motivation fails. And when motivation fails, your goals die. That's the problem. That's the trap. But systems? Systems don't fail. Systems automate discipline. That's the key. You have a choice. You can chase goals and live in constant stress and disappointment, or you can build systems that achieve the goals for you. That's the difference between struggling every day and living in unstoppable flow. That's the difference between willpower fatigue and effortless progress. That's the difference between ordinary people and those who dominate their field. Here's the truth. Humans are not built to rely on motivation. Motivation is like a wave. It comes and goes. Energy fluctuates. Desire wanes. But systems? Systems don't care about mood. Systems don't care about emotion. Systems act automatically. That's the beauty. That's the power. And that's what separates high performers from everyone else. Take a look at CEOs like Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, or Tim Cook. Do they chase daily goals? Rarely. They build systems, morning routines, workflows, decision-making protocols. Every habit, every ritual, every automated action compounds into enormous results. Jeff Bezos, for instance, blocks his mornings for high-level thinking. Elon Musk organizes his days in 5-minute increments to maximize output. Tim Cook starts work before 4 a.m., using systems to handle emails and decisions efficiently. These aren't goals, they are automated routines that crush willpower fatigue. That's how they dominate. Elite athletes operate the same way. Michael Phelps didn't swim fast by hoping to feel motivated. He built a system. Hours of practice, every day repeated thousands of times. Every lap, every drill, every early morning was automated discipline. Serena Williams didn't show up occasionally, she showed up consistently, executing systems designed to build skill, strength, and resilience. That's how champions are made. That's how excellence compounds. That's how results become inevitable. Now let's make this practical for you. Stop thinking in terms of goals like, I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to make $10,000 this month. Those are outcomes. Outcomes depend on circumstances, luck, and willpower. Instead, focus on the systems. What daily actions produce that outcome automatically? For weight loss, it's eating a set number of calories, exercising consistently, sleeping properly. For income growth, it's daily prospecting, marketing, networking, learning, and executing. You don't chase the goal, you build the system that achieves it automatically. Repeat it. Don't chase the goal, build the system that achieves it automatically. Why does this work? Because systems remove decision fatigue. Every time you rely on willpower, you are draining your mental energy. That's why people fail to exercise, fail to work, fail to create. That's why motivation collapses. But a system automates behavior. You don't have to think. You don't have to debate. You act. The choice is built into the routine. Discipline becomes default. That's the key. Here's a step-by-step example. Let's say you want to become a writer. Don't make the goal, write a book by December. That's vague and stressful. Build the system. Write 500 words every morning at 6 a.m., no exceptions. No thinking. No debating. Just write. The system creates the outcome. The book will happen automatically. The goal is inevitable because the system is unstoppable. That's how mental discipline is scaled. And it works in every area of life. Health, wealth, learning, relationships. Your habits are your systems. Your routines are your automation. Every small choice, repeated daily, compounds. Every automatic behavior strengthens your life. And here's the truth most people miss. Effort without consistency is wasted. Motivation without systems is wasted. Action without automation is wasted. That's why most people never achieve their goals. That's why most people struggle. They chase results. You chase systems. That's the key. Let's reinforce the mantra. Don't chase the goal, build the system that achieves it automatically. Say it again. Don't chase the goal, build the system that achieves it automatically. Let it echo in your mind. Let it guide every habit, every routine, every decision. If you do this consistently, success becomes inevitable. If you don't, you'll keep spinning your wheels, exhausted, frustrated, and underperforming. Consider the power of morning routines. The most successful people in the world, CEOs, entrepreneurs, athletes, control their mornings. Why? Because mornings set the tone for the entire day. When you automate what you do in the morning, you don't waste energy on decisions. You start every day with momentum. Exercise, meditation, planning, reading, journaling. These are systems, not goals. They produce compounding benefits that shape the entire day and eventually the entire life. That's how winners operate. That's how systems beat short-term pleasure every time. Now here's a practical exercise for you. Pick one area of life that feels inconsistent. Maybe it's health. Maybe it's work. Maybe it's learning. Identify the system that produces the result you want. Break it down into repeatable actions. Automate those actions. Block your environment to support it. Commit. Execute. Repeat daily. Don't chase the goal. Build the system. That's the key. That's the difference between effort and results. That's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. Here's another truth. Life will test your discipline. It will tempt you to skip, to slack, to seek comfort. Systems are your shield. When the system is in place, temptation loses power. When the system is in place, motivation is irrelevant. When the system is in place, results are inevitable. That's the key. That's the secret that most people ignore. That's why they fail. You will not fail if you commit to systems. You have a choice. You can continue chasing goals and relying on fragile motivation, or you can automate your discipline. You can create routines that make success automatic. You can remove friction, eliminate decision fatigue, and build unstoppable momentum. That's the key. Don't chase the goal, build the system that achieves it automatically. Repeat it, own it, live it. Remember, systems compound. One small action repeated daily becomes unstoppable over time. Willpower alone cannot sustain results. Motivation alone is fleeting. But a system? A system carries you when you are tired. A system carries you when life is chaotic. A system carries you when motivation dies. That's the key. That's power. That's freedom. You have learned the truth about goals. You have seen why systems dominate willpower. You understand the principle. Now it's time to act. Identify your systems. Automate your discipline. Build momentum. Every day, every choice, every repetition. Make success inevitable. You mastered the framework of systems. You learned how to make discipline automatic. Now let's tackle the next challenge. Chapter 5. Master your environment, master your mind. Listen carefully. Your environment controls you more than you realize. That's right. More than your willpower, more than your motivation, more than your talent. Your surroundings dictate what you do, what you focus on, and ultimately what you become. Every notification, every cluttered desk, every distraction, every social pressure, they shape your behavior, your attention, and your life. If you don't control them, they will control you. That's the truth. Repeat it, shape your surroundings or your surroundings will shape you. You have a choice. You can ignore your environment and blame yourself when you fail. Or you can take full control and design your surroundings to support your discipline, focus, and growth. That's the key. That's the difference between constantly struggling and executing effortlessly. That's the difference between ordinary people and high performers. Think about it. Every day your attention is assaulted. Phones buzz. Emails pile up. Social media demands instant response. Television tempts. Snacks tempt. Friends tempt. Even your own cluttered workspace tempts your mind to wander. And your brain? It's wired to seek comfort, to avoid effort, to go where it's easy. Left unchecked, your environment hijacks your behavior, and your life slowly drifts toward distraction and mediocrity. That's reality. Harsh but undeniable. Consider the office. A cluttered desk, scattered papers, notifications pinging constantly. Can you focus? Can you think deeply? Can you produce meaningful work? Probably not. Now compare that to a clean, organized workspace. Minimal distractions. Everything in place. Tools and resources ready. You focus. You act. You get results. That's the power of environment. That's why you must control it. Your phone is the biggest enemy of focus for most people. Social media apps, messages, notifications, designed to hijack your attention and steal your time. And it works. Every ping triggers a dopamine hit. Every scroll consumes minutes, hours, days. Every moment of distraction compounds. And suddenly you've spent the best hours of your life feeding someone else's system, instead of building your own. That's reality. You have a choice. Continue reacting to your environment or take control. That's the key. Social pressures are another trap. Friends, family, colleagues, they influence your habits more than you realize. They pull you toward comfort, approval, distraction. Just one drink. Just one episode. Just one night off. Each just one compounds. You have to recognize this. You have to protect yourself. You don't need their permission to create the life you want. You don't need to conform to their habits. You have a choice. shape your surroundings or be shaped by them. That's the key. Here's the truth most people ignore. Your environment can either be your prison or your ally. If your workspace, home, and social circles constantly tempt you to give in, you will. If your surroundings reinforce focus, discipline, and growth, you will excel. It's that simple. It's that binary. This is why mastering your environment is non-negotiable for building discipline and achieving success. Let's make this practical. Step 1. Declutter. Remove anything that competes for your attention unnecessarily. That means your desk, your room, your digital space. Minimal distractions. Maximum focus. Step 2. Control technology. Silence notifications. Schedule specific times for emails, messages, and social media. Step 3. Choose who you spend time with carefully. Surround yourself with people who push you toward growth, not comfort. Step 4. Create visual cues for focus and productivity. Notes, reminders, routines that reinforce discipline. Every element of your environment should work for you, not against you. Look at successful people. Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett. They control their environments meticulously. Their offices, homes, and routines are optimized for focus, creativity, and execution. Athletes like Kobe Bryant or Serena Williams? Same principle. Their gyms, schedules, training environments are designed to maximize output and minimize distraction. You can do the same. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You only need action. Here's another tip. Batch your environment to support high-leverage work. For example, designate a workspace for deep focus only. No phone, no music, no interruptions. Just the task that builds your future. Your brain associates the space with focus. Every time you enter, discipline is triggered automatically. That's how systems and environment work together to automate success. That's the key. And don't forget your digital environment. Social media feeds, browser tabs, apps. These are the modern-day clutter. They hijack attention silently, subtly, and persistently. Block, mute, or schedule them. Set boundaries. Make your devices tools, not tyrants. Every small adjustment compounds. Every minute saved compounds. Every distraction removed compounds. That's how you take back control. Remember, your mind is not infinitely strong. Willpower is limited. Motivation is inconsistent. The environment is constant. If you shape it, you leverage your limited energy. If you don't, it exploits your weakness. That's reality. That's life. That's why mastering your environment is as important as mastering your mind. The two are inseparable. Repeat this mantra: shape your surroundings or your surroundings will shape you. Say it again: shape your surroundings or your surroundings will shape you. Let it guide your actions. Let it guide your choices. Let it guide your life. Every object, every person, every habit in your environment should reinforce your purpose, your focus, and your long-term growth. You might think, I can rely on willpower to resist distractions. That's a mistake. Willpower fails. Motivation fades. Energy declines. But environment is constant. Shape it to reinforce your discipline. Shape it to automate focus. Shape it to eliminate temptation. That's the key. That's power. That's freedom. Here's a practical exercise. Today, identify one environment that constantly steals your attention. Maybe it's your desk. Maybe it's your phone. Maybe it's the people around you. Remove the distraction. Rearrange. Optimize. Create a space that reinforces focus, discipline, and growth. Execute daily. Repeat weekly. Let it compound. That's how extraordinary results are built. You now understand the truth. Your environment shapes your mind more than you realize. Distraction is everywhere. Temptation is everywhere. But control is possible. You have the power. You have the choice. Every action you take to optimize your surroundings strengthens your mental discipline. Every adjustment compounds over time. And that's how you win. You mastered the awareness of external influence. You saw the cost of unmanaged surroundings. Now let's move deeper. Chapter 6. Embrace pain as fuel, not a barrier. Listen closely. Pain is not the enemy. Discomfort is not a curse. It's a signal. It's a tool. It's a mechanism for growth. The world wants you to believe that life should be easy, that success should be painless, that happiness should come effortlessly. That is a lie. Comfort is the trap. Avoidance is the mechanism of stagnation. Pain is the forge of power. Repeat it: pain today, power tomorrow. You have a choice. You can run from discomfort or you can harness it. You can complain, avoid, and seek the easy path, or you can lean into the struggle, endure the momentary discomfort, and build a future no one else can touch. That's the key. That's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. Look at the elite of the elite. Navy SEALs. These men and women volunteer for extreme discomfort. Cold water, grueling physical training, sleep deprivation, mental stress. They embrace what most people run from. And why? Because they understand the principle: growth occurs at the edge of comfort. Every pain endured, every challenge overcome, strengthens the mind, body, and spirit. That's how they become unstoppable. That's how discipline is forged. That's how power is built. You don't need their permission to train the same way. Your pain may be different. Your struggle may be different. But the principle is the same. Discomfort is the ladder to mastery. Every time you face what you don't want to face, every time you endure what you'd rather avoid, you gain. That's the key. Every small act of courage compounds. Every moment of struggle strengthens. Every choice to face difficulty builds momentum for your life. Repeat it: pain today, power tomorrow. Consider high-stakes entrepreneurs. Elon Musk working 100-hour weeks. Sarah Blakely risking her savings and reputation. They embraced the discomfort of rejection, long hours, and uncertainty. They faced financial stress, criticism, and repeated failure. Every painful experience was an investment in their future. Every struggle was leverage. They didn't quit when life was hard. They leaned in. That's how fortunes, companies, and empires are built. Pain is a fuel. Pain is not the barrier, it is the vehicle. Artists know this truth too. Vincent van Gogh, Beethoven. These creators lived in hardship, deprivation, and relentless effort. They rejected comfort to perfect their craft. Nights of struggle, days of discipline, years of pain, they endured. And the world benefits. Their masterpieces are timeless because they traded comfort for excellence. You can do the same. Pain is your friend when you choose to see it that way. Pain is power when you endure it intentionally. Let's make this practical. Start by identifying where you avoid discomfort. Is it in your body, your mind, your work, your learning? Now deliberately choose one uncomfortable action every day. A cold shower, a tough workout, a difficult conversation, writing or practicing instead of distracting yourself. Endure it, lean in, embrace it. Every act of deliberate discomfort trains your mind to handle bigger challenges, to resist temptation, and to delay gratification. Every moment compounds. Every choice matters. You have a choice. You can keep seeking comfort, staying safe, and avoiding pain. Or you can choose growth. You can choose power. You can choose to endure the momentary struggle to create long-term results. That's the key. Repetition is essential. Discipline is essential. Habit is essential. And pain is the teacher that reinforces them all. Repeat the mantra: pain today, power tomorrow. Say it out loud. Let it echo. Let it guide every decision. Here's an example you can implement immediately. Every morning, do one thing you don't want to do. Could be physical, push-ups, running, stretching. Could be mental, reading something difficult, tackling a challenging task, writing a report. It could be emotional, having a hard conversation, giving constructive feedback, asking for help. Whatever it is, endure the resistance. Push through. That momentary pain is compounding power. That's the principle. That's the framework. That's your choice. Let me give you another perspective. Comfort creates stagnation. Easy living creates mediocrity. Avoiding pain leads to regret. Every time you take the path of least resistance, you delay growth. Every time you choose comfort over discipline, you weaken your mental muscle. And every time you lean into struggle, you build resilience. You build focus. You build strength. You build momentum. That's the difference. That's reality. That's power. You might be thinking, pain is too much. I can't handle it. That's a thought. It's not reality. Strength grows with resistance. Endurance grows with challenge. Resilience grows with struggle. Your mind and body are adaptable. Every time you confront pain, your capacity increases. Every time you endure discomfort, your threshold rises. That's how ordinary people transform into extraordinary performers. That's the principle. That's the law. That's the truth. Repeat it. Pain today, power tomorrow. Historical examples reinforce this. Abraham Lincoln faced repeated failure, loss, and ridicule before becoming president. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Nelson Mandela endured decades in prison before leading a nation. They didn't avoid the pain. They didn't give in. They used it. They transformed it. They endured. And the result? Greatness, power, legacy. That's the blueprint. That's what you must adopt. Now here's the exercise for today. Identify a source of discomfort in your life that you've been avoiding. Confront it. Endure it. Do one deliberate act of discomfort right now. It doesn't have to be monumental. Small is powerful. Every small act compounds. Every moment of resistance strengthens. Every time you choose the hard path, you build your mental muscle. And that mental muscle carries forward into every area of your life. You have a choice. Comfort or growth. Ease or excellence. Avoidance or power. Every time you choose discomfort intentionally, you invest in your future. Every moment you lean into struggle compounds into resilience, skill, and confidence. This is the Stoic Framework in action. This is how you take control of your life. This is how extraordinary people operate. Repeat it. Pain today, power tomorrow. You mastered awareness of struggle. You learned the value of discomfort. You know how to turn challenges into leverage. Now it's time to apply it consistently. Every day, every decision, every action. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the tool. Pain is your ladder to freedom. And every time you climb, you rise. You embraced discomfort and transformed it into fuel. You strengthened your resilience. Now let's explore the next principle. Chapter 7. Delay now, win later. Listen carefully. Life rewards patience, not impulse. Instant gratification feels good, but it steals your future. Every time you give in to a small pleasure, you are robbing tomorrow of potential, power, and progress. That's the truth. And it's harsh, but necessary. You have a choice. You can chase the fleeting pleasure of now, or you can delay it to earn something monumental. Repeat it. Delay the small pleasure. Earn the monumental reward. The principle is simple. Small acts of restraint, repeated consistently, compound over time into massive results. Saving money instead of spending recklessly. Studying instead of scrolling. Practicing skills instead of seeking comfort. Every moment of delayed gratification builds leverage. Every time you resist a short-term urge, you strengthen your mental muscle. You create momentum. And over months and years, that momentum produces results that far outweigh the instant satisfaction you skipped. That's the key. Let's break it down. Consider money. A person spends $5,000 on trivial indulgences over a year. Feels good at the moment, but it compounds against them. Another person invests that same money consistently. Compound interest grows it. Years later, that small restraint becomes a fortune. Same principle applies to time, effort, and energy. Delay now, gain later. The math of life favors patience. Repeat it. Delay the small pleasure. Earn the monumental reward. Students understand this even if they resist it. A person cramming at the last minute gets temporary relief but loses long-term mastery. Another student studies consistently, tackles material daily, and delays distractions. Knowledge compounds. Skills compound. Confidence compounds. Every small decision to resist distraction builds power, skill, and leverage. That's the principle. That's the game. Athletes, musicians, and performers know this too. Michael Phelps didn't eat ice cream or skip workouts. Serena Williams didn't rest instead of training when it mattered. Every skipped temptation, every delayed indulgence, every repetition of disciplined action added up. Small sacrifices now led to monumental rewards later. That's the law. That's the framework. That's what transforms ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Now let's make this practical. Start with one area of your life where temptation dominates. Maybe it's spending, maybe it's social media, maybe it's junk food, maybe it's procrastination. Pick one. And then build small, repeatable actions that delay gratification. For example, if you're trying to save money, set up automatic transfers to a savings or investment account. Out of sight, out of mind. If you're learning a skill, schedule consistent daily practice. If you're building health, prep meals in advance and schedule workouts. Every system that enforces delay removes reliance on willpower. That's the key. You have a choice. You can live for now, chasing fleeting pleasure, or you can build the habit of deferring reward for something monumental. And here's the truth most people ignore. It's easier than it seems. Don't try to change everything at once. Start small. One small act of restraint, repeated daily, compounds. One small decision to delay, repeated consistently, becomes automatic. And then one day you look back and realize you've built an unshakable advantage. Repeat it, delay the small pleasure. Earn the monumental reward. Consider the example of a young entrepreneur. They could spend evenings partying, scrolling social media, chasing temporary fun. Or they could invest the same hours in learning their craft, building a business, making connections. One path offers short-term pleasure. The other builds long-term leverage. Months later, the entrepreneur has clients, revenue, skills, and momentum. They delayed small pleasures and the reward was monumental. That's reality. That's choice. That's discipline. Here's an exercise for today. Identify one small, repeatable act of delayed gratification. Write it down. Commit. Execute it. Examples: skip a snack and prep a healthy meal. Study or practice for 30 minutes before entertainment. Save a small percentage of every dollar earned. Avoid checking your phone for 1 hour to focus on deep work. Repeat it daily. Track it. Celebrate consistency, not the ease of the moment. Each delayed action compounds. Each small resistance builds power. Each choice reinforces discipline. That's the law. That's the framework. That's how extraordinary lives are built. The brain craves instant pleasure. That's biology. But biology is not destiny. You can train it. You can reshape it. Every delayed reward strengthens the prefrontal cortex, your mental muscle, and your ability to make high-leverage decisions. Every skipped indulgence builds confidence, control, and momentum. That's how self-discipline grows. That's how leverage accumulates. That's how you win at life. Repeat it, delay the small pleasure. Earn the monumental reward. You might be thinking, but it's uncomfortable. It's hard to resist now. Good. That's the point. Discomfort is the vehicle of growth. The struggle is the lever of transformation. Every moment you endure, every temptation you resist, every small act of restraint adds to your power bank. And that power compounds until your life is dominated by choice, focus, and leverage. That's the framework. That's reality. That's success. Let's consider a long-term example. Warren Buffett's strategy relies on consistent, disciplined investing over decades. Mark Zuckerberg's daily coding, decision-making, and work during Facebook's early years required delaying comfort and entertainment for relentless focus. Leonardo da Vinci spent years studying, sketching, and experimenting before creating masterpieces. What do they all have in common? They delayed small pleasures consistently, and the rewards were monumental. That's the key. That's the blueprint. That's what separates winners from everyone else. You have a choice every hour, every day. Will you chase fleeting pleasure or will you invest in your future? Will you give in to momentary desire or will you delay now to create lasting power? The difference compounds. One choice, one act of restraint, one disciplined decision at a time. Repeat it, delay the small pleasure. Earn the monumental reward. Here's a final exercise. Identify one area where you feel your impulses control you. Track your behavior for a week. Notice every moment of indulgence. Then choose one small change to delay that gratification. Repeat it, track it, reinforce it. Every day add one more. That's how habits form. That's how leverage compounds. That's how power accumulates. That's how you win later by delaying now. You now understand the principle. You know the power of patience, of delayed gratification, of resisting the urge for immediate pleasure. You have the framework. You have the mantra. You have the choice. Every small decision matters. Every repeated act compounds. Every moment of discipline adds up. You trained the habit of delaying gratification. You built leverage for the future. Now let's move deeper. Chapter 8. The Power of Focused Action. Listen carefully. Busy is not productive. Activity is not achievement. Running around, multitasking, reacting to every distraction. This is the trap most people fall into. Scattered effort undermines long-term gains. It fragments energy. It steals results. The world rewards deep, focused action, not scattered motion. That's the truth. Repeat it, do less. Do it better. Repeat relentlessly. You have a choice. You can continue spreading yourself thin, moving from task to task, chasing every notification, responding to every demand. Or you can focus deeply, prioritize ruthlessly, and act with precision. That's the key. That's how extraordinary results are created. That's how ordinary people become unstoppable performers. Consider historical inventors. Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla. They didn't scatter their efforts across multiple distractions. They focused deeply on a single problem until they mastered it. Edison spent years refining the light bulb. Tesla devoted countless hours to understanding electricity. Focused action, repeated over time, compounded into world-changing inventions. That's the principle. That's the framework. Writers understand this as well. J.K. Rowling didn't write Harry Potter in scattered bursts of distraction. She devoted focused blocks of time to writing, editing, and revising. Each session built on the last. Every hour of concentrated effort produced compounding progress. That's why her work became monumental. Focus is leverage. Focus multiplies. Focus produces results far beyond scattered effort. Repeat it, do less. Do it better. Repeat relentlessly. Athletes know the power of focus. Michael Jordan didn't practice 50 things at once. He honed his shooting, his footwork, his conditioning relentlessly, repeatedly. Serena Williams didn't play casually. She focused on each stroke, each match, each day of training. The compounding effect of deep, focused work is exponential. Small distractions avoided. Focused blocks multiplied. That's the difference between good and legendary. Now let's make this practical. Start by identifying your highest leverage task, the one activity that produces the biggest results in your life or work. Then block out uninterrupted time to focus exclusively on it. No phone, no email, no notifications, no multitasking, just the work. Start with 1 hour, then increase. The key is repeated, focused execution. That's how results compound. That's how mastery is built. You don't need to do everything at once. Doing more is not the answer. Doing better is. Scattered action is wasted energy. Focused action multiplies impact. Think of it like a magnifying glass concentrating sunlight. Scatter it and you create nothing. Focus it and you ignite fire. That's the difference. That's the principle. Repeat it, do less. Do it better. Repeat relentlessly. Here's an exercise for today. Choose one task that matters most. Break it into a single high-value action. Schedule a block of uninterrupted time. Commit to deep work during that period. Track your progress. Evaluate after each session. Then repeat. Each focus session compounds. Each repeated block builds skill, leverage, and momentum. That's how extraordinary results are achieved. The modern world is full of distractions. Notifications, emails, social media, news, other people's priorities, they fragment attention and drain energy. Focus blocks fight back. They reclaim your mind. They multiply productivity. They amplify results. Every moment of focused action compounds, while scattered effort evaporates potential. That's reality. That's the law. That's power. Consider Benjamin Franklin. He didn't divide himself among distractions. He organized his day around focus and disciplined blocks of action. Each activity, each hour, each task was purposeful. It compounded into influence, innovation, and legacy. That's how focus works. That's how systems amplify results. That's how you win. Repeat it, do less. Do it better. Repeat relentlessly. You might be thinking, I'm too busy. I can't block time. That's a lie. Everyone has the same 24 hours. The difference is how you invest them. Stop reacting. Stop multitasking. Stop filling time with trivial effort. Instead, prioritize, schedule, and execute with focus. One block of high-value work today creates leverage tomorrow. Repeated blocks create unstoppable momentum. That's the key. Here's another tip. Protect your focus fiercely. Let no one steal it. Silence your phone. Close tabs. Notify others of do not disturb. Use environmental cues, a clean desk, a quiet room, or music that enhances concentration. Build a system that removes friction for deep work. Focus becomes easier when your environment supports it. That's the power of deliberate design. That's the difference between ordinary output and extraordinary achievement. Remember, focus is a skill. It strengthens with practice. Every time you force yourself to concentrate, to resist distraction, to dive deep into high-leverage work, you are training your mental muscle. Every session compounds. Every repeated act builds momentum. Focus is not passive. It is active. It is deliberate. It is the multiplier of results. Repeat it, do less. Do it better. Repeat relentlessly. Let's take it further. Break your work into sprints. Deep, focused blocks. Work intensely for a set time, then rest briefly. This preserves energy and maximizes output. Then return. Repeat. Over time, you create compounding progress. Your brain adapts. Your focus strengthens. Your results accelerate. That's the law. That's the principle. That's how extraordinary lives are built. You have a choice. Scattered effort or focused action. Distraction or discipline. Mediocrity or mastery. Every time you choose focus, every time you eliminate distraction, every time you block high-leverage work, you compound results. Every repeated session builds skill, confidence, and momentum. That's the framework. That's the law. That's reality. Repeat it, do less. Do it better. Repeat relentlessly. Here's your challenge. Identify your highest leverage activity. Schedule one focus block today. Commit. Execute. Protect your focus. Track progress. Repeat daily. Let this become your habit. Let it compound. Let it create momentum. That's how winners operate. That's how ordinary effort becomes extraordinary achievement. You now understand the exponential power of focused action. You've learned why scattered effort kills potential. You've seen how repeated, deep work compounds into results. Now let's tackle the next principle. Chapter 9. Reprogram your brain for discipline. Listen closely. Discipline is not magic. It's not luck. It's not something you're born with. It's a skill. A trainable skill. A rewired habit. And here's the truth. Your mind follows your actions, not your intentions. Say it. Your mind follows your actions, not your intentions. You have a choice. You can hope for motivation. You can wish for willpower. Or you can deliberately reprogram your brain through action, repetition, and environmental design. That's the key. That's how ordinary people become disciplined. That's how high performers dominate. That's how mental toughness is built. Let's start with habits. Your brain is a pattern-seeking machine. It forms neural pathways for repeated behaviors. When you repeat an action consistently, your brain rewires to make it automatic. That's the science. That's how habits form. That's how discipline grows. Every time you repeat a positive action, you strengthen a neural connection. Every time you resist a negative impulse, you weaken a destructive pathway. Repeat it. Your mind follows your actions, not your intentions. Visualization is another powerful tool. Elite athletes, musicians, and performers use it to reprogram their brain. Before a race, a swim, or a performance, they imagine themselves executing perfectly. Their brain reacts as if it's real. Neural pathways fire. Habits strengthen. Confidence grows. Success becomes inevitable because the mind has rehearsed it over and over. You can do the same. Visualize your discipline. Visualize your focused action. Visualize your consistent effort. See it daily. Believe it. Repeat it. That's how your brain rewires for success. Repetition is the engine of transformation. Small actions repeated daily create automaticity. Want to wake up early consistently? Do it every day, same time, same environment. Want to exercise without fail? Schedule it, execute it, repeat it. Want to write, practice, or study? Block time, act deliberately, repeat. Your intentions mean nothing without repetition. Action compounds. Action rewires. Action builds discipline. Repeat it. Your mind follows your actions, not your intentions. Environment design is equally critical. Cognitive psychology proves that surroundings shape behavior. Remove friction for positive habits. Add friction for negative ones. Want to read more? Keep books visible, accessible, ready. Want to stop wasting time on social media? Move apps to a folder, silence notifications, or block them entirely. Your brain reacts to cues in the environment. Shape the environment and you shape behavior. Repeat. Your mind follows your actions, not your intentions. Consider elite performers. Olympic athletes don't rely on willpower alone. They create rituals, routines, and triggers that enforce behavior automatically. Musicians schedule daily practice at the same time in the same environment. Entrepreneurs automate focus through deliberate work blocks and environmental cues. The principle is universal. Repeated, deliberate action rewires the brain to make discipline automatic. That's the key. Let's make this practical. Step 1. Identify the habit you want to develop. Step 2. Design a clear, repeatable action to reinforce it. Step 3. Attach it to an environmental cue. Step 4. Repeat consistently until automatic. Examples. Habit. Morning workout cue. Alarm action. Exercise immediately for 20 minutes. Habit. Daily writing cue. Workspace cleared and pen ready action. Write 500 words every morning. Habit. Mindful focus cue. Close phone and silence notifications action. Deep work for 60 minutes. The brain follows the pattern. The action rewires the mind. The habit becomes automatic. Intention alone achieves nothing. Repeat it again. Your mind follows your actions, not your intentions. Here's the truth most people ignore. Mental strength is built, not wished for. Every small, repeated action reinforces neural pathways that make discipline easier. Every skipped distraction strengthens focus. Every deliberate act builds confidence in your self-control. And over time, the compounding effect is unstoppable. That's how elite performers operate. That's how extraordinary lives are built. You might be thinking, I've tried before. I fail. That's normal. Rewiring takes time. Neural pathways don't form instantly. But consistency beats resistance. Repetition overcomes failure. Small wins accumulate into unstoppable momentum. Your mind adapts. Your habits lock in. Your discipline becomes automatic. Repeat. Your mind follows your actions, not your intentions. Consider a practical exercise. Pick one habit for the next 30 days. Use visualization to see yourself performing it perfectly. Use environmental cues to make execution automatic. Perform it daily. Track it. No excuses. Repeat it relentlessly. By the end of the month, your brain has rewired. Discipline is no longer optional. It's automatic. That's power. That's leverage. That's control. Even scientists agree. Cognitive psychology shows that repeated action, environmental triggers, and visualization strengthen the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for self-control, focus, and delayed gratification. Your brain is literally being sculpted by your habits. That's reality. That's science. That's your advantage. Let's reinforce it one more time. Say it. Your mind follows your actions, not your intentions. Say it again. Your mind follows your actions, not your intentions. Let it echo. Let it guide your daily life. Let it shape every decision, every action, every habit. Your thoughts follow what you do. Your brain rewires itself based on repeated behavior. That's the Stoic Framework in action. Here's a final tip. Consistency trumps intensity. A small action repeated every day compounds far more than a sporadic burst of extreme effort. Show up daily. Perform the habit. Rewire the brain. Repeat. That's how mental discipline becomes unstoppable. That's how extraordinary results are built. You now understand the principle. You see the role of action, repetition, and environment in shaping behavior. You know the tools: visualization, environmental design, deliberate practice. You have the mantra: your mind follows your actions, not your intentions. Now it's time to apply it relentlessly. Every day, every choice, every moment. That's how you transform intention into power and discipline into results. You reprogrammed your mind. You strengthened your habits. You made discipline automatic. Now let's conclude our journey with Chapter 10. Live a life that cannot be distracted. Listen carefully. Everything we've covered comes together here. All the principles, all the habits, all the practices, they are not separate. They are a system, a lifestyle, a framework to live a life that cannot be distracted, derailed, or diluted. That's the truth. The world will pull at you constantly. Instant gratification, comfort, noise, and chaos are everywhere. But you can rise above. You can master your mind. You can master your life. Repeat it. Control your mind. Control your life. Every day. Every choice. You have a choice. You can continue reacting to distractions, impulses, and temptations, or you can take control. You can build a life where focus is automatic, discipline is habitual, and purpose is non-negotiable. That's the difference between living passively and creating a life of unstoppable momentum. That's the difference between ordinary results and extraordinary achievement. Let's synthesize what we've learned. Stop chasing temporary pleasure. That's the foundation. Every moment you trade immediate gratification for delayed reward compounds into power, skill, and leverage. Every skipped distraction, every resisted temptation, every disciplined choice builds an invisible armor that shields your focus and strengthens your resilience. That's the bedrock of a life that cannot be distracted. Next, build your mental muscle of self-control. Discipline is not fixed. It's trainable. Through repeated action, structured routines, and deliberate resistance, your mind becomes stronger. You gain the ability to pause, decide, and act with purpose even when everything in your environment screams to do otherwise. That's leverage. That's freedom. That's control. Redefine success as long-term gain. Forget society's obsession with immediate wins. Focus on what compounds over time. Small, consistent, high-leverage actions, performed every day, create results that overwhelm the short-term noise. Investors, artists, and entrepreneurs who embraced delayed gratification understood this principle. They didn't chase trends, they created systems. They didn't seek comfort, they endured struggle. And the result was monumental. Repeat it. Control your mind. Control your life. Every day. Every choice. Systems over goals are essential. Don't rely on fleeting motivation or fragile goals. Build routines, rituals, and habits that automate discipline. The morning routines of CEOs, the practice schedules of athletes, and the workflows of elite performers are systems, not wishful thinking. Systems carry you when willpower fails. Systems produce results even when motivation is gone. That's how extraordinary lives are created. Master your environment. External stimuli hijack attention constantly. Clutter, notifications, social pressures, they all chip away at your focus. Design your environment to support your growth. Shape it or it will shape you. Clean spaces, structured routines, curated social circles, and controlled digital environments create conditions where discipline thrives and distraction dies. That's leverage. That's freedom. Embrace pain as fuel. Discomfort is not a barrier, it's a ladder. Avoidance leads to stagnation. Every challenge you endure, every difficulty you face intentionally, builds mental toughness, resilience, and capability. Navy SEALs, high-stakes entrepreneurs, and artists all understood this. Pain today becomes power tomorrow. Repeat it. Control your mind. Control your life. Every day. Every choice. Delay now when later. Build the habit of resisting small temptations to achieve monumental outcomes. Saving, learning, practicing, building skill, these are investments in your future. Every act of restraint compounds. Every repeated choice strengthens the habit of discipline. Every delayed reward multiplies. This is how ordinary lives transform into extraordinary ones. The power of focused action is non-negotiable. Scattered effort produces scattered results. Deep, uninterrupted work produces mastery. Historical inventors, writers, and athletes understood this principle. Focused action, repeated daily, compounds exponentially. Do less. Do it better. Repeat relentlessly. That's the multiplier of results. Repeat it. Control your mind. Control your life. Every day. Every choice. Reprogram your brain for discipline. Use visualization, repetition, and environmental design to make self-control automatic. Your mind follows your actions, not your intentions. Repeat behaviors consistently. Remove friction. Strengthen neural pathways. Create habits that enforce discipline without constant effort. Your brain adapts. Your mind strengthens. Your life transforms. Repeat it again. Control your mind. Control your life. Every day. Every choice. Now picture the outcome. Lives transformed by consistent delayed gratification are everywhere. Entrepreneurs building companies from scratch. Artists perfecting their craft for decades. Athletes training relentlessly despite discomfort. Their secret? They applied all the principles. They resisted distraction. They automated discipline. They endured struggle. They delayed reward. They focused relentlessly. They created momentum that became unstoppable. And that's what you can do too. Here's the blueprint for your life. Prioritize meaningful growth over temporary pleasure. Skip short-term indulgences for long-term gain. Build and strengthen mental discipline daily. Train your self-control like a muscle. Redefine success through compounding long-term results. Ignore society's obsession with instant wins. Implement systems, not fragile goals. Make discipline automatic through repeated routines. Shape your environment. Remove distractions. Reinforce focus. Leverage your surroundings. Embrace pain as fuel. Endure discomfort intentionally. Grow stronger through struggle. Practice delayed gratification. Small sacrifices now lead to monumental rewards later. Focus relentlessly. Deep, concentrated action multiplies results exponentially. Reprogram your brain. Repeat behaviors consistently. Align actions with long-term purpose. Every principle compounds with the others. Every habit reinforces the next. Every choice builds momentum. That is the life that cannot be distracted. That is the life of purpose, resilience, and unstoppable progress. Repeat it. Control your mind. Control your life. Every day. Every choice. Your challenge today and every day is simple but powerful. Take control of one area of your life immediately. Apply the principles. Remove distractions. Execute the system. Endure discomfort. Delay gratification. Focus relentlessly. Repeat consistently. Let it compound. Let it dominate your life. Repeat your mantra. Control your mind. Control your life. Every day. Every choice. Remember, the world will always pull you toward comfort, distraction, and mediocrity. But you are not here to drift. You are here to act. You are here to grow. You are here to build a life that cannot be distracted. Every moment is an opportunity to strengthen focus, reinforce discipline, and deepen purpose. Every choice compounds. Every repeated action shapes your destiny. That's the framework. That's the Stoic approach. That's your path to mastery. So take this moment seriously. Act intentionally. Build systems. Shape your environment. Endure struggle. Delay gratification. Focus deeply. Repeat relentlessly. Your life will follow your mind. Your results will reflect your actions. Your destiny is in your hands. Repeat it one last time. Control your mind. Control your life. Every day. Every choice. You are ready. Not someday. Not when motivation strikes. Not when the world is convenient. Today. Right now. Every day. Every choice. That is the life that cannot be distracted. That is your life. That is your power. Congratulations. You now have the full framework to transform your mind, your habits, and your life. Apply it relentlessly. Live it consistently. Become unstoppable. If this lesson helped you take control of your mind and your life, subscribe now and turn on notifications for more audiobook-style strategies to build focus, discipline, and unstoppable momentum.